Took a breather and came back in no time. Put the ball in my possession and it's showtime. I'm taking the last shot, coach, don't mind. I'm a different predicament, so it troubles you. Game clock ticking and I'm coming for the W. One man ain't enough, they gon' have to double two. Get ball shot made, all the fans loving you. Time expired, everybody rushing you. Now you done showed them what you about. Try to tell you we was gon' make it without a doubt. Do what they can, I'm already stamped, and I be shitting like Kevin Durant. In the game, ate up. When I steps on the floor, I don't waste time. 2 seconds, one shot, I'ma make mine. Hit a 3-pointer on baseline. They want my spot, I'm trying to save mine. So you should move over. 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 So you should move over.
How's everybody doing, man? Hoop Narrative Podcast. It's your boy, Fred Joe, and I'm here with my boy, OT, man. Got a special guest in the building today, OT, once again.
Yeah, Mr. Seattle, somebody who we actually grew up with.
PS3.
Man, Peyton Siva. Definitely special guest, man. What's good, bro? How you doing, man?
What's up, fellas? Thank you guys for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, I know I'm gonna hear a lot of stories between you two on this episode, man. Peyton Siva, 2009 graduate from Franklin High School, right along with my bro Fred Wilson. Y'all won 2 rings together, 1 ring.
No, I won.
One with Fred.
Yeah, Siva.
I got 2.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Man, let me real quick, OT. Let me just rally off a couple, man. Rally off some stats, man, for the illustrious Peyton Siva, man. 2009 Washington Mr. Basketball, 3rd team All-American 2009, McDonald's All-American 2009, 2-time Big East Tournament MVP 2012 and 13, and NCAA champion 2013. And I believe you have a 2020 championship, right? Is it 1 or 2 of those? Euro?
We got 2. We won the the cup game and the championship.
And this resume is a lot more padded, but I just wanted to say some of the, the ones that stand out. It's a long list, OT.
Which one has been the most memorable championship, all the way from high school to Louisville to where you're at now? Which one stands out the most?
I would say, you got to go with the college one, just because of the fact that, it was 4 years, and college is tough. It's a single game elimination, so many teams, so many good players. That was probably by far the toughest one, but they're all memorable. I remember every single game, so I think that one was probably the biggest. It was the biggest stage so far.
Yeah, man, leading your team to an NCAA championship, man, you just by watching the NCAA tournament, man, as a fan, like, you could just tell, like, if you get to do that, man, that's the pinnacle, man. I ain't gonna lie.
No, for sure, man. I was definitely blessed to, get that opportunity to go out there and perform and, play on that stage. So definitely thankful for that, man.
Yeah, so we all played together when we was all kids. And I remember vividly, you played center in 5th grade. Peyton.
Yeah, man, I was hella tall.
They don't even know that, man.
I don't know too many people who's listening who knows that. I know you guys all know Siva has always been an elite point guard, but the man used to be bigger than all of us when we were kids. When did you start to see yourself, hitting that corner, like, okay, I can really play this game, and I might be able to do this for a long time?
And that wasn't probably until high school, bro. Because, as you guys know, I played football growing up, and I loved football. My whole family was football players.
This guy was crazy for the CD Panthers. This is the first dude I seen jumping over people in football games.
Football was my sport, bro. I love football. And, I think that helped me a lot because I was always athletic in a sense. Rough. And so that's why I was playing center when we were younger. But as I got to high school and, started transitioning, I started getting hit a lot harder on the football field and basketball. I started getting, looks at basketball for college, which I never thought was possible. But, I started getting looks, started getting scouted, and decided by my sophomore, junior year that basketball was going to be my career goal.
And you still played. I remember coming to watch you a couple of times your freshman year. That was your last year at Franklin, right? When Jordan Daisy was the quarterback.
Now I played. I played a full season my freshman year, and then my sophomore year I played, and then I broke my collarbone, and then I called it quits after that.
Yeah, it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, taking that it's like people around like that around high school is when they usually start to try to figure out, football, basketball. And I forgot you were an elite football player as well. Wide receiver, right?
Yeah, man, I got to play wide receiver and free safety. And it's funny because, Kerr was known for not letting the basketball players play football.
Right.
Mario Bailey became the football coach for Franklin, and he kind of was like, what, come on, play. I'll talk to Kerr for you. And Kerr let me and Daisy go out there and play, and it was fun, man. I had a good time.
Okay. And so you went to Franklin from 05 to 09, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 05, 06. So they
0506, yeah, 0506. Yep.
What? So we just talked to Kerr. I don't know if you listened to the episode. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have. I know that you are a big Jason Kerr fan. I know Fred's always said that's one of your favorite coaches you've had. What's some things like over those 4 years being coached by him that that still sticks with you to this day?
Yeah, I mean, Fred can attest to this. Kerr is probably one of my favorite coaches ever. I was blessed enough to, play under him with Rylan Brown, Coach Reese, Greg Farr was there, Craig Jackson. But with Kerr, man, I think the biggest thing for me was just the accountability factor, how he treated everybody the same, from 1 through 12 to the managers, whatever. And, I got a chance to really, know Kerr off the court just because of the fact that, a lot of people who don't know my background, it was pretty much growing up, especially during the high school years, it was me and, mom worked 2-3 jobs, brother in and out of prison, sister, whatever. And so I spent all my time at school on the hooping, hanging out with my friends, but like Kerr kind of played that, another father figure role for me in a sense. So I was able to, stick around him a lot. And, he treated me like he would treat anybody. I can remember a story my senior year. We brought a kid named Carmine McGee onto the team to be the manager. Yeah, that was my guy. He was in our classes, and I told him to come to one of our tryouts. He came to the tryout. This guy hooped and literally all his belongings in his pockets during the tryouts. He didn't want to take out like his keys, his phone, or anything out of his pockets because he was afraid somebody would steal them. He was just that kind of kid, and he was kind of like the kid that was on the outside. And Kerr allowed him to come and be our manager, and he treated Carmine the same way he treated me. If Carmine was out there sweeping the court, I was out there sweeping the court. If he had to put up the hoops, I had to put up the hoops, and that kind of leveled me and made me humble in a sense and treated everybody the same. And I think that was one of the biggest takeaways I can go with Kerr.
No, that's definitely I feel you on that. See, me and Otis, we talk about that all the time, about your high school coach being important. So it was good to see you learn the, accountability and even the leadership qualities. Like I think about it now, like we used to be 15, 20 deep going to Rainier Community Center late night hooping. And, a lot of people don't know this. We'll go back to Siva's house and it'll be 15, 20 people laying down. Wake up in the morning and Siva's making...
I didn't even get to sleep in my bed most nights. I had to find someone on the couch, man. There'd be 3 people in my bed, feet.
And the craziest part about it is now I look back, I see the leadership because we'll be out all night hooping, everybody all over your floor. And then we'll wake up in the morning and you made those same 15 people go to church in the morning, and I look back now and it's just like, Like you've always had those leadership qualities, you know what I mean? So being with Curry I feel like it kind of took it to the next level, you know what I mean? On actually
No,
how to be
definitely
a
for
leader.
sure.
So I
For
just wanted
sure,
to
Kurt
say that.
definitely helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Fred, this is for you. So you played with Siva for, I mean, you played with Siva pretty much since you were as a kid as well.
Yeah.
High school for 3 years.
Yep.
Uh, I want to hear you tell me what you think Siva's biggest best attribute is on the court.
Mm. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because he has a padded resume, but this guy just wants to win at the highest level, man.
Okay. I
Like
mean, that's a stat that you
yeah,
can't
it's not
condemn that
even
with nothing. I mean, it's true though.
yeah, like, and I don't even know if you consider that an attribute, but like this guy wants to win, you know what I mean? And when your best player is being held accountable and he wants to win, like I feel like it's easy to be infectious throughout everyone, and especially with us playing with Kerr, like if you weren't a winner, you stood out. You know what I mean? If you know
Facts.
what I mean. So, and Siva could have been one of those guys being the best player. He could have worried about his scoring and you know what I mean, his individual goals. But I feel like him worrying about the team's individual goals, it took us to new heights. You know what I mean? So to me, that's the best thing, man. You can't question that. You know what I mean? Can't put that
Hey
in a
man, what a
box.
nice guy. What a nice guy, man.
No, I'm
Nice
just,
guy.
hey, I'm just being real, man. You know how Otis knows how I feel about winners, man. Like a lot of guys play basketball, but a lot of guys aren't winners, and I've been blessed to be around a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey man, hey Fred, since we're winners, you have something over people too. Because in my 4 years, and you've been with me 3, we never lost to any metro teams, any of the big inner city
bro,
teams. And I tell everybody that not
Dang, really?
Cleveland,
bro,
not
Otis,
Garfield, not Rainier Beach. Nah, we ain't lost to
I'm
any of the
glad
O'Day.
we're having this conversation, bro, because
Impressive.
those teams are beating up on Franklin now, and Steven knows we can have these conversations. We go back to when we played, we didn't lose to those guys.
Hey, didn't lose a home game my senior year.
None of that,
We
bro.
didn't lose to any of the inner city teams at all.
I,
We always have that over there. That's why I always,
Yeah,
whenever the
we always,
Franklin conversation comes up, I throw that little jab at him.
yeah.
and then every time too back then, and I know now too, but every time there was a big game, Peyton, there was just something about you like that click that was like, okay, like this is gonna be me. We're gonna
What
get
was
this.
it for you, Otis? What was a memorable game for you? Watch Siva, and you was like, okay, this is this dude's for real.
I mean, like I said, I've been watching him play for so long. I mean, yeah, we can go to the ones that everybody talks about.
Yeah,
The '09
Bellevue.
against Bellevue, the '09 against Rainier Beach. I even the games that I thought was fun is the ones where you walk into Franklin Gym and it's packed, and regardless of what the score is going to be, like I said, I mean when the lights are on, Peyton's gonna play at his best. And I remember one of the most memorable games was Jason Terry's retirement night. And
Okay.
it got ugly. The game wasn't. It was against
Was that
Garfield.
Tone's freshman year?
Yeah, Tom's freshman year. It was
That's a
almost
funny.
just like it was just like Peyton and you guys basically saying to Tone, like, welcome to the Metro League.
That was his first game, huh? Siva versus. That was his first Garfield Franklin game.
I don't know.
I think so.
That was his first Garfield
Yeah.
Franklin game.
Yeah. Or we can
But
talk.
that wasn't even Metro. We were
Yeah,
in
it wasn't
4A
Metro.
at
You're
that
right.
time.
They were in
Right,
4A.
right.
You're right. They were in 4A.
But that was the game for you, Otis, when you watch
Yeah.
Siva. And yeah.
We can just even talk about like just even on the AAU moments with Rotary of just how like all the rivalries with you and Abdul Gaddy.
Let's talk about that. Avery Bradley, bro. Let's talk
Fire
about
and Ice.
Rally.
that Seattle Tacoma rivalry versus Avery and Abdul, bro. Talk about that a little bit.
Good old Fire and Ice, huh? Played against those guys since damn near 4th grade. I hated those guys.
I know Abdul Gadi. I don't know if he still overseas or if he's still overseas. You still keep in touch with him a little bit?
Yeah, we talk every now and then. He just came back. I think he was just in Greece. And I think he just signed somewhere in Jerusalem.
Okay.
Just recently. I think he just tied the league assist record too in game.
And Avery's in Miami after the winning the championship with us, so he's still doing what he do
with us, huh? This guy.
Yeah.
Oh man, those good old Ice Vibe, Panther
people center battles.
Man, those are good times, man. Good times.
You guys were pretty much especially junior, senior year, you and Gaddy were pretty much 1-2 best point guards in the nation. And I remember when your recruitment was starting to dwindle down, and I think you went to go visit Arizona. I was thinking, like, okay, this is locked in. Like I'm pretty sure JT talked to you. We know U of A was a point guard school at the time. I thought it fit your game. And then next thing we know, you're going to Louisville. What was it about Louisville that stuck with you? It's like, this is where I want to go.
Yeah, Abdul's the reason why I went. I love telling everybody about it because me and Abdul are good friends. And like you said, Abdul at the time was number 1, number 2 point guard in the nation. It was him and John Wall, and I was, around that 4 or 5. And, we had a lot of battles, but we were pretty much similar schools in a sense. At first, I loved Arizona. I wanted to go to Arizona. I was really cool with JT. Went out there to one of their team camps to go for a visit. Great place, point guard U. Abdul committed there. So I was like,
was Lute there, Siva? Was Lute Olson there?
Lute Olson was there at the time, yeah. And plus Marcus Williams, my favorite player from Seattle, he went there. And so I was like, all right, yeah, for sure, I'm going to Arizona. That was like the school I watched growing up. Then Abdul committed there, and it's like, you're not going to commit, 2 point guards to the same school. So I was like, all right, came down to, UW. Louisville hasn't really came into the picture quite yet. They were on and off. And then I was like, all right, well, UW, okay, let's look at this. I love Romar, great guy, hometown team. Louisville started coming into the picture a little bit, coming to the picture. They finally offered me a scholarship. Richard came in there, offered me a scholarship, but I was real close with Romar, Cam. Cam was one of the main guys recruiting me, and I really loved him as a person. And then Abdul decommitted from Arizona. Lute Olson retired. And I'm just like, all right. And then he commits to UW. I'm like, well, I'll take UW off the list.
I remember seeing Patino at Franklin High School. I was like, wow.
Yeah. First, Richard came down. I talked to a couple people. I was like, man, I really like Louisville. T-Will was there. I really liked the way they were playing. So I was like, oh, man, Edgar Sosa was, they were balling on TV. And it's funny because for me, I didn't really want to play defense going to college because I was pretty much a scorer in high school. So I was like, man, Louisville looks like it's fun. It's up and down. Yeah, I was sadly mistaken about that. But Richard came to one of the practices, offered me a scholarship. All this had went down with all these other teams. So I was like, all right, well, playing for a legendary coach like Rick Pitino would be amazing. And then I decided to commit there my junior year.
Man, see, you're somebody who's blessed to play for prestigious coaches, man. While we're at it real quick, let's talk about playing for Rick Pitino at Louisville, man. Talk about what it was like, because from the outside looking in, we hear all these things about him. He's tough-minded. He's he's this, he's that, but you played for him. What was it like?
He was all that. I would say my freshman year was probably the hardest. Yeah. He's one of those coaches that, he's going to make you mentally strong, especially going to the Big East the way it was. It was
the real
he played in the real Big East, man. A lot of people, not this American East or whatever they call it now.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, the real Big East.
And, My freshman year was tough. I was coming in there as a McDonald All-American, and you come in there. I wanted to learn coming behind, playing behind Edgar Sosa, who was a senior at that time. So I was coming in to pretty much be the backup point guard, get some minutes, play, understand the system, and then grow from there. But my freshman year was really tough. Struggled a lot. Just struggled with the concepts of the defensive schemes, handling the pressure as a point guard, being actually a true point guard for that team. In high school, we had Beyonce at the time playing point guard, and I was playing sometimes off the ball unless it came down to like a really crunch time situation. Then I would go to the point guard position. But figuring out how to play point guard, figuring out how to play with other McDonald's All-Americans, figuring out how to play against All-Americans, essentially trying to figure out how to get them the ball, figure out how to get in our press, how to get in our zone. It was tough, man. I struggled a lot my freshman year. Sophomore year, managed a little bit, understood it. Coach Pitino, still cussing me out, yelling. He doesn't say he curses, but give me tough love, if you like to say that. But fought through some injuries. By the time my junior year came around, I finally figured out something clicked, and then we went on our crazy run. Won the Big East title, went to the Final Four, and then senior year, it was history. So he was a great coach, really great motivator, really tough-minded coach. But I loved him off the court. He's a great person.
Definitely. Did T. Will have was he any type of instrumental in you going to Louisville as well?
Yeah, T. Will. I mean, I love the way that Terrence played at Louisville. I mean, he hyped it up, tremendously. This guy took me to Cracker Barrel on my visit, which is the same as Denny's, if anybody didn't know what that was out there. I think he kept all the per diem for himself in that sense. But no, I mean, he told me how much he loved it. He showed me around campus how much, you're really a rock star when you go to Louisville. As far as the fans go, they don't have any pro team, so the college is their pro team. Yeah. And he played a tremendous role in recruiting me to go there, just showing me what life is like. And he hyped it up. He didn't tell me about the growing pains that you'll go through with Coach Pitino, but he made the glamour side seem real nice. And for him, he was a senior. He was a big man on campus. I mean, he was junior and he was already All-American and everything. So yeah, he enjoyed it, but he played a big role.
That's the funniest thing is we went out to a tournament out there senior year.
Yeah. Bluegrass or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Bluegrass
tournament. Yeah, we won that. But bro, I remember we weren't even in Kentucky. I think we were in a layover and people were, "You're Peyton Siva going to Louisville? You're Peyton Siva going to Louisville?" Like, it was crazy. Like, we were on a layover. So then when we got down there, like off the plane, it was like you could just see it. Like, bro, they're already like, "Peyton Siva, you going to Louisville?" And that's when we learned it's not Louisville, it's Louisville. Like,
yeah, you gotta say it with like your mouth full of food, Louisville.
Yeah, like fans just running up to Siva like out the airport. Like, it was just crazy, bro. Like, to see that.
No, they're the best fans, man. I really love them. I mean, I do love them. They're great. They really support, their basketball community. They support their sports community. And, I can't say enough about the Louisville fans, especially in high school. We're going there, team from Seattle, Washington. No one knows. No one even knows where that's at.
And we went in there and won that thing.
Hey, we went in there and won. We won the championship there. And, it was a great feeling to go in there and win.
They didn't know if Siva was Samoan or Mexican, but they knew he was hooping, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, bro. They was calling me Sosa, Silva. Yeah, man.
So 2000, after Louisville, you were another Seattle great to get drafted into the NBA. How was that? How was that NBA life like before you went out to overseas? What's something you still remember about the NBA?
Yeah, I had a little cup of coffee in the NBA, man.
Hey, everybody don't
A
get
lot
it,
of
bro.
people, yeah,
Hey,
a lot
hey,
of
man,
people
I was
don't get
blessed, man. I was
drafted.
blessed to hear my name called, but it was a good experience for me. Um, in all reality, I really, saw how the NBA lifestyle is. Luckily for me, I had some great vets with Rodney Stuckey, Chauncey Billups, Josh
Man,
Smith, all those guys. And so they were really great, big help for me. I went in there and I was behind 4 point guards at the time, so it was tough for me to see the court. I actually started playing well at the end of the year when they fired Mo Cheeks, but they fired our whole management from general manager down, so they just wanted to clean house. I mean, there's no one on my team from Detroit still with Detroit now, so
right.
they cleaned house, they cleaned everything, so it was tough. But I really enjoyed it, man. It's a tough. If you're not really motivated to play or to grind,
Yeah.
you can get lost in the shuffle. I mean, you're traveling, uh, you're eating, you're traveling, you're practicing 1 hour a day. You really have to get in the gym yourself and prove your worth because you can't, as a rookie, you can't, show what you got in practice because you don't practice. Uh, you can't really show what you got. You have to be ready at all times because you might get 3, 4 minutes at the end of the game. You got to go in there and do something. You can't just go in there and just, be lackadaisical. So, you just really have to be self motivated at the end of the day, be ready at all moments. And, that was a big wake up call for myself. I remember my first time when I was we went on a road trip and I was like, hey, can I, go to the store real quick to grab me something from the store? And they looked at me like, yeah, just be back here by the bus time. Like, why the hell are you asking me this? Like, and
You're a
I mean, I didn't
professional
know,
now.
coming from college,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to leave nowhere without asking permission. So,
Yeah.
you're pretty much on your own. You don't really have that college, commodity where, guys are constantly on you like, hey, we need to go work out. We need to go work out. But, luckily I had some good vets. When I was working out, I was able to stay in shape. I got hurt at the beginning of my rookie year. So just trying to catch up, was tough. But I feel like I did well at the end, played well. But unfortunately, like I said, they cleaned house. So I enjoyed my experience. I learned a lot and just use it to my everyday life now.
See, but just briefly, you were talking about vets. Touch on what it was like looking up and playing with Chauncey Billups, man.
Man, it was amazing, man. Mr. Big Shot.
It's the big shot, bro.
Mr.
That's what
Big
I'm
Shot.
saying. Come on,
Hey,
man.
man, like it was great because you kind of take away some of their tendencies of what they do, how they work out, and how they train. One of the big things, I noticed with Chauncey whenever he was healthy and we worked out together, just the simple things that he worked on after practice, just pick and roll, one dribble this, all right, one dribble mid, pull up. Um, just he didn't use any wasted movement.
So it wasn't
And
no
I was
between the legs, step back, none of that.
well, Chauncey couldn't really move that well like
No.
that.
No,
I
I'm
said
just
that, no,
playing.
but no, it was
Yeah, simplicity.
he'll tell one of the coaches, hey, set the screen right here, come off one dribble, maybe a hesitation, pull up,
Yeah,
step back, like go behind the screen, shoot, and it was catered to the way that he played. He
right.
wasn't going 100 miles per hour running up and down the court. It was catered to the way you can tell like how efficient he was in everything
Right.
he did. It was truly, a sight to, behold and to see. I'm coming out of college. You used to going 100 miles per hour, balls to the wall, but now you're seeing, change of pace. No wasted movements.
Right.
Just everything is just so crisp, professional.
Yeah.
It was great, man, to have vets like that to not only on the court, but see how he handled himself off the court, the way he interacted with people. He made sure to shake everybody's hand when he walked into the locker room, tell everybody good morning. Just little things like that, kind of take you a long way.
Mhm.
Fred, we talk about like this all the time in our
Yeah.
group chats and whatnot. Uh, a lot of people don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the mindset or whatever the case is. a lot of people make really good money playing overseas basketball, and it's really great competition. And there is a few routes that some people do try to stick around the NBA side and the G League and try to see if a door will open. Siva, when did you decide that okay, I'm gonna stick to this overseas route, or was it always something in the back of your mind like, man, that NBA door is knocking, it's right there? Like, when did you decide like, okay, uh, like I'm ready, I can do this overseas life?
I mean, I think after, so I spent 1 year in the league, then went to the G League, and I signed a partial guarantee with the Magic and went down to their D League affiliate. And at the time, I just had a daughter, and yeah, I can keep trying to chase this NBA dream, kind of keep chasing this, but there comes a time where it's like, all right, now I need to make some money. Like I need to, I can't keep living off a D League salary, and they're not making much. Like, yeah, okay, I'm still, my name's still there. I can still maybe kick in a wall, but opportunity presented itself in Europe, and I was hesitant at first because playing in Europe gets this such a bad reputation in the States. You kind of, and I say this a lot of people kind of see it as you fail. When you go overseas, when you play basketball in Europe, you're not good enough. Oh, you're going overseas, which there's levels in Europe too. So people don't understand that, and they look at it as a bad thing and get such a bad stigma. But while going over here, I kind of wished I would have came over earlier, in a sense, because I had better opportunities. Say my first year after the NBA, I could have went to like a EuroLeague team fresh out of there, which I stayed a little longer, and then I went to another team and had to work my way up. Which EuroLeague, for those who don't know, is the second best competition in the world after the NBA.
Yes.
And you can make a really good living. And so for me, it was just trying to get over that whole, oh, you're a failure, you're a failure. Just listening to what the outside people said, and just being comfortable with myself to, put my family first, put my pride aside, and actually go over there and try it. And I love it, man. It's great. I've had some horror stories in my first year, but now, it's to a point where I'm in EuroLeague. I'm competing against the best players who go from EuroLeague to the NBA, players from the NBA that come to EuroLeague and don't necessarily succeed because different games, a different animal. So I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at.
And you've been there since what, 2016, right, Siva?
Honestly, I can
15, I think. I think 2015, I believe.
Yeah,
I looked at it. Yeah,
something like that.
And Otis, we talk about this all the time. Shout out to Al Snow. I heard you briefly talking about it on his podcast. The stigma of guys thinking, okay, well, it's not working for me. I'm gonna just go overseas and just hoop.
I mean, I feel like
you're in you're not to cut you off, but
you're
in the second toughest league in the world, and you're not averaging 30. But you're like, most people would think, okay, he's not sticking, but you've been there 4 or 5 years getting it done, winning championships. So talk about that stigma, man.
It's funny because people who think they know who, always talk about like they see videos on Instagram or Twitter, like this guy dropping 30.
Yeah, they see Mike James and Shane Larkin. They see those.
Hey, those two are exceptions.
Right.
They see these random other players, because it's funny because they see random other players like, oh, he's dropping 30 in Europe. Oh, he's averaging 30, getting buckets. Oh, I can go over to Europe and play right now. People just think, oh, it's so easy. But a lot of times they see players who are nothing against it, but playing in the third division and playing in second division in some places, which those second division players will bust a lot of people's asses. But, they see that, and it's not the same level of competition to where, like, in EuroLeague, this is something that I had to get used to. You're going out there, you're playing 20 minutes and then a 40-minute game. If you can go average, it's funny, my first year, I was like, oh, this guy is only averaging 10 points in EuroLeague. Like, what is that? It's easy. That's light. But averaging 10 points in EuroLeague, 10, 12 points, that's equivalent to averaging 24, 26 points in the NBA at a like a higher, more spaced out game. So like guys like Mike James and Shane Larkin, when you see them actually putting up the big numbers, know that they're for real. Like those are real like deal buckets. Like when those guys are putting up those type of numbers, that's crazy. But when you see people playing EuroLeague that averages around 12, 13 points, like they're getting busy because it's an efficient 13, 12 points. They're not shooting 20, 30 shots. They're shooting 10, 11 shots, and they're getting those points within 20 minutes of the game, which, there's no 3 seconds in the key. So teams are just packing it in. It's like an NBA version of college where it's just like rough, tough, every game matters, physical, but with the skill set of NBA players.
We're gonna definitely stick on this topic. You guys are now listening to Peyton Siva, Hoop Narrative Podcast. We're gonna get right back to you guys right after this ad. What's up, everybody? You now listening to Hoop Narrative Podcast. We got our special guest in here, Peyton Siva. We're just talking about the overseas world. And it's funny, we're talking about this. I mean, I feel like people really underappreciate not only the European style of play, but players that come over from Europe now. You know how many times I didn't had to like debate with people about all these EuroLeague guards coming into the NBA now, and there's always been that stigma. EuroLeague guards for the most part don't stick, but it's funny. The NBA is kind of changed its game to pattern European basketball. How do you feel about European basketball right now and how all these Euro guys playing in the NBA?
I think to somewhat degree, a lot of players that were coming over to the NBA were kind of older players. As far as like the guards and stuff, they were like established in EuroLeague who's was kind of on the back end of their career, decided, okay, I'm gonna make that jump to the NBA, which by that time it was kind of tougher for them to adjust to the NBA game, adjust to the NBA speed. I think in that sense, like them people were like, oh, okay, this guy's not that good or whatever. But when the young guys are starting to come over there and they're starting to, get that year or two to adjust their games, you can tell a big difference of how they play. They play a team-oriented type of basketball where now it's even more spaced out. You can just tell how well they read the game. I mean, because I'm gonna be honest, like when Luka Doncic was coming over, I was hyping up Porter, which he's a great player, playing well now, but I was like, no way, Luka, outshines him. Like this kid, is just destroying people up in Seattle. Like and I was able to follow him a little bit just because of Seattle. Yeah. But Luka was doing this against EuroLeague men. Yeah. And I was having this debate with one of my coaches, and I was like, no way he goes to the NBA and does that. No way. He went over there. It took him a little bit of time to adjust, but like his game translates, man. He's only like 18 years old, so it's like he had nowhere to go but up. And
pace and space that he plays,
you can just tell.
Yeah. That pace is unreal, Siva, that he plays.
I mean, you can just tell. I mean, he's played against grown men his whole life since he was like 15 years old. So, he's playing against guys coming from college and everything now. Like his body's already more developed. He already reads the game better than all of them. And he was just always a very confident kid. So it's good to see that. I think for all these players who's coming from Europe to go to the NBA and playing well, I think it's really good for the game of basketball because it's opening everybody's eyes to the whole world, and everybody's not just sticking in a box, like, with the perceptions of European players and things of that nature.
So right now, Siva, you're in Alba Berlin. This is now your third or fourth year there.
That was my fifth year.
Fifth year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fifth year.
First year was 2016.
Bro, I have no idea.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
seen.
Oh, you
too.
did say that,
It's
yeah.
just-
Yep, I
these
seen
these
that
years
answer.
just like all together, bro. Hey, bro, the years just go together.
What's the
But, yeah.
what's it like over in Berlin on and off the court?
Berlin's nice, man. It's very easy living, and I think that's why I've stayed so long. Just because while here it reminds me like a bigger city in the States. Everybody here speaks English, so that helps a lot, especially being in Europe. Um, they have great restaurants, food, and everything. Great parks for my kids to go out and play. And like I said, it's very easy living. Great organization from head down. Great coaching staff. But the city's real nice, man. It's a lot of people really love it. It's very tourist attraction, and there's a lot of things to do. So I think I really enjoy it out here. Great city, like I said, and great fans.
That's what's up, man. Good Alba Berlin, man. Siva, I've been wanting to ask you this question, man. So I guess it's giving a little bit of flowers, but I want you to talk about D. Hennings, man, and playing for the illustrious Rotary and what he's meant to you growing up and the impact that he still has on you today, man. Because a lot of people they don't know the impact of Daryl Hennings, but you were somebody that got to be next to him and also play for him, man. So talk about D80.
Yeah, before I talk about innings, I gotta thank Dan Finkley for getting me up to Rotary.
Okay.
My grandma bugged him about getting me up to Rotary. He was the first one to kind of like give me the nod. And then once I got up there, meeting Daryl was life changing for me. Growing up inner city kid, I was going up to Rotary every day.
Yeah.
Daryl, was the guy. I think there's only two people's numbers I remember, three numbers that I can remember to this day.
Yeah.
That's 911, grandma's number, and Daryl Henning's cell phone number, which is still the same to this day.
It's still the same.
I called that man I called that man so many times, whether he was, picking me up from home for practice, whether I was staying at the Rotary until 11:30, 12 o'clock at night to get a ride home from being there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon after school. I damn near, spent my whole childhood, teenage life with Daryl Henning. So, Daryl always has a, special place in my heart. I can't thank him enough for all the things that he's done, from taking me to AU trips. Daryl was the one that took me on my first recruiting trip to Louisville.
Okay. I didn't even know that. Okay.
I wanted Daryl to be, have an opinion on everything I did,
That's real.
growing up. And so I really valued his opinion over pretty much anybody. I mean, there's a point where I valued Daryl's opinion over my own mom's. Like, Daryl told me something, and my mom told me something, and I was like, well, Daryl told me, no disrespect to my mom. I love my mom. She's number one. But, Daryl was that person that literally I stayed there all night at Rotary, where even I was working. I mean, he got cheap labor out of me, so I think he got his money back from making me do the clocks and stuff for the in-house games at Rotary. But I just loved. He just has a spirit about him that you just want to be around him, and as a basketball player, I wouldn't be the basketball player I am today without him. I mean, he's probably the coach that instilled confidence in me to be who I am.
That's real.
You know, I still shots today, and in the back of my mind, be like, lay up. I just remember D Hand just always in the back of my mind. I think that was one of the things that excelled me to be the player that I am, is just the confidence that he instilled in me over and over again. Yeah. You know, I think Kerr got mad at the time. Go look to Daryl in the stands, like, what am I? Hey, if I'm having a bad game, I'll look at Daryl like, I don't know, what am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
He'd be like, no, pay attention to the game. And, I love D-Ham, man. I can't say I can on and on about Daryl, but just know he knows I appreciate him to the fullest. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without him.
Yeah, next time you talk to him, tell him we got a seat waiting for him on Hoop Narrative, man. We've been trying to find every avenue to get him on here, Siva.
Siva, no, D80 don't do the cameras and stuff, man.
Hey, man, if you can get him and get him on here, man, that'd be amazing. I would love to, the stories that guy can tell, man. Is he has archives of them, so. Yeah, so I'm sure he listens to this. So Daryl, go ahead and hop on, man. Get on the podcast. Go ahead and support your bros, man. Support your youngins that you. This guy's seen so many people grow up. It's amazing.
Hey, all
of us said that he was going to retire every single year.
Right. Siva, do you think he would take a head coaching job, or he just loves what he does with the kids?
Yeah, huh? I think he loves what he's doing.
I don't think he would take a head coaching job. I think he's just like. I think it's too much stress as far as head coaching, too much politics. As far as he's already dealing with AAU politics, so I think head coaching, and he already runs a very successful AAU program. I think it would just be too much for him. I think he likes more to kind of sit in the back and enjoy watching the kids play at that time, and with their high school teams. I don't think he really wants to have a hand in that.
Yeah. You keep up with Seattle Hoop, everything that's going on around here right now, the players and everything?
I mean, every now and then I follow Cartier on Twitter and listen to what he says every now and then. He might throw out some random name.
Shout out to Hot Bread, man.
Fred or somebody, they'll talk a little mess. I'm the type of guy I just butt in when people start down talking Franklin. I gotta kind of throw in my two cents, man.
Hey, Siva,
doesn't matter who we're playing, doesn't matter what year. It's always go Franklin. Franklin could be 0-12 going against Beach, who's undefeated, and I'm like, FU's gonna win, baby, Franklin. and so but I've been seeing the talent that's coming out of Washington. It's truly amazing. To kind of see the level continue to rise and see the players continue to go to Division I, continue to put their team on the map. I mean, one of the two kids, Nolan, is going to Kentucky, which I can't cheer for him. With Paulo, I told him I can cheer for him for Duke, but if he went to Kentucky, then I would have probably had to unfollow him too, and I would have had to curse Coach Kerr out for allowing him to even consider that. But no, I'm happy for those kids, man, to go out there and get on these big teams with high profile. It was very rare growing up to see guys from Seattle go to such prestigious school. So it's great to see that it's very common now.
So you agree, do you disagree with, there's kind of a narrative or stigma now that kids leaving is kind of not putting on for the hometown. Do you think kids like yourself did going to these big schools, Louisville, Duke, Kentucky, do you think that's putting on for the hometown probably even more?
Yeah, I think that's bullshit for somebody to say that if you're not staying home, you're not putting on for your hometown.
Because they want a lot of these kids to go to UW, so that's the narrative.
Yeah, I mean, you want kids to go to UW,
Right.
but sometimes it's not in the cards. Sometimes
Right.
it's not the right fit. I mean, you can go to UW and fall completely off, and then what? Are these people still saying you put on for the town because now you're stinking it up, and
Mhm.
That's true.
then you're a nobody.
Yeah.
Where now these kids, I mean, UW's not playing the best basketball right now. I keep up with them. Like I always keep up with UW, even when I went to Louisville. Like,
Yeah.
the ESPN app, you star your favorite teams to keep up with the scores, and
Right.
UW was always the one that I always kept up with, no matter what. I always checked the box score, I always looked at the stats, and now they're not really playing, to that high level which they once were, and you kind of see it, but I think it's, I'm totally a big component of when you're out of town and you're going to these bigger schools, now you're bringing more light to Seattle. I mean, I've brought so much attention to Seattle
You
playing
did.
for Louisville.
Mhm.
Like for me, I have Seattle tattooed on me.
Yeah.
So, everybody asks like, "Oh, where are you from?" or "What does 206 mean?" or I'm like, "Yeah, it's Seattle, Washington. It's where I'm from." And then now they're like, "Oh, okay." Like people are, understanding like, "Okay, he's from Seattle." Now you're starting to see this pipeline to Seattle. Okay, like you're putting on like for your state. I don't really like if you go to UW and you don't even make the NCAA tournament.
What did you
Are
put
you really
on?
putting on? Are you really, broadcasting what Seattle is really about?
Yeah.
You're not, in my opinion. Now, like, okay, say if they turned it around, like you guys are hooping,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, you put on Seattle on the map, like
Right.
that's fine. But
Yeah.
you know, different strokes for different folks. I think Will is a great coach for
Mm.
UW. I love him, but I mean, he's not the head coach. He's
Yeah.
not, the one that is in front of the camera, and but with Paulo going to Duke,
Yeah.
people from North Carolina is going to be like, all right, oh, he's from
Yeah.
Seattle. All right, where's the next kid from
Yeah.
Seattle?
And he
Mhm.
kind of talked
You
about
know,
that too, didn't he, Otis P?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And just like with Cartier,
there's going to be.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
I
saying,
said, is this going to be a trickle down
Yeah.
effect? It's going to be like,
Mhm.
okay, who's the next kid from Seattle? I
Exactly.
want this kid from Seattle. Or I want
Mhm.
this kid. Like, okay, he's from Seattle. Now I have to go up there and watch more kids because I want to find the next Paulo or Nolan or whoever, Jamal Crawford. Like,
Right.
I need to go find these guys. And for the example, like Jamal Crawford, I mean,
Yeah.
this
Going
guy
to
went to Michigan.
right.
He's Mr. Seattle. Like,
Yeah.
all right, like he lives in Brooklyn Nets. Like, I'm going
Yeah.
to
They probably didn't even
Brooklyn,
know
man.
Seattle had hoopers in Michigan, huh?
No,
What was you
but I
Otis
mean, I just
saying about Cartier, Otis? What was you
Nah,
saying?
he was just saying how when John Calipari came and stepped in to come watch Jaden, he was just saying that now John Calipari is gonna always stick his nose in the Seattle basketball and see what's going on out here.
I had to tell Cartier about that too. I was like, yeah, you can't send him to the UK. I was like, come on, man. I was like, hey, man.
No Kentucky talk at all on here.
Hey,
Now
I mean,
Steve on here.
I don't mind Kentucky. I don't. Their fans are funny. Their fans are great, but they play Louisville once a year, and it's like I don't want to see that success. So when they play Louisville, so it's like, all right, you can go anywhere else in the nation, like have fun. I'll cheer for you.
And Pete talked about that too. See, but he said like that Coach Mike, the Duke guys, they were saying that like they've recruited guys, even at Kentucky, they've recruited guys from Washington and missed. So P said he felt like him going to Duke was, like you said, was going to give the next kids watching him, because like P and Nolan, those guys watched you, you know what I mean? So they probably seen Terrence a little bit, but seeing Peyton Siva go to Louisville was a big thing. You know what I mean? Freshman year, seeing Siva do the 360 ESPN top 10, like, yeah, he's from Seattle. You know what I mean? So I also
Oh,
think
for
that's
sure. I agree with that point
yeah,
wholeheartedly. Like,
right.
now if these coaches aren't getting these kids from Seattle, they're like, why am I going to waste my time going all the way up to the Northwest,
Yep.
which is all the way in the corner of the fucking country? Like,
Yep.
like I don't want to go up there. Like, I'm no one is coming, so why am I going up there? So I think, by those guys, setting the tone of going to these places, it's giving the opportunity for more kids growing up to, be able to, reap the benefits.
Oh, and we gotta ask everybody, every player who's been on here. We've tried to like hammer out this top 5 Seattle basketball players. You're definitely in the discussion, in my opinion. I think you got enough knowledge and seen our era, the era before when we were growing up, and kind of tapping into this era now. Can you build a top 5 basketball players, or even I can give you, or I can even say your favorite basketball players? I know you said Marcus Williams.
I know.
Marcus.
I know for a fact Marcus is on there for Siva. I know that for.
I mean, really, if you went like high school players, I think for center, I think I'll put like Spencer Hawes.
Okay.
For like power forward.
And you can be positionless if you want, Siva. You can however you want to do it.
I think it's easier for power forward. You go like with like Marvin Williams. You can count him. I mean, even he was Bremerton, but let me see that. For me, just off of my personal opinion, I have to go Marcus Williams at my 3.
Respectable.
The guy is like 6'10".
Yeah, bro.
Guard, especially in high school, it's amazing.
For all the kids who do not know who Marcus Williams is,
Roosevelt legend, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Go look him up.
And see, I can't really talk about like the newer like kind of generation like right after me. So like I can only go with the guys before me. I think
that's fair.
You would have to go like Brandon Roy.
Okay. You got one spot left after him. Yep.
See, and that's where it's tough because like
the guard
now it's
guard is tough. Yeah. That's everybody. That's a lot of names right there.
That's a lot of
and that's where the guards are. And it's like I'm not I want to I have to go with I'm putting Aaron Brooks in just because I have to put a Quaker in there. So there's so many players now. If I go off like personal favorites, I will go like with like AB, IT, Reggie Moore.
I've heard you give Reggie his flowers a couple of times, so that's not surprising.
Reggie's probably. Reggie's. That's why I'm wearing his hat. He's probably one of the hardest players I had to guard.
And Reg feels like he should get more credit too, deservingly so, though. He put in a lot of work.
Well, the thing about what Reggie is tough because he went to O'Day his first couple years. People didn't really get to see him that much. But I grew up with Reggie, and I played against Reggie since I was little. And, like, the guy is amazing.
Bro, he was the first dude I seen wear tights at O'Day. I'm like, he's got to be the guy.
Bro, the guy was this man-child in middle school, bro. Like, he had bounce, he can shoot, he had handles. Like, what else do you want from a guy? Like, when he went to beach, he set the scene on fire. But I think it was just such a short span that people were just like, okay, like, you can't really. But Reggie.
So who'd you say? So you said IT, AB, Reg, and then
like favorite players.
Yeah.
There's too many, man. I'm going with shout out to my guy Taylor Olsen.
Ooh, good T.O.
Okay.
I just want to throw him in there, man. I don't think he gets a lot of credit.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Siva's hoop. Siva's seen a real hoop, man.
He was one of my favorite players just because I got to shoot against him every night at Rotary. T. Will's up there because T. Will is probably one of the most electric players in the high school scene. I can't really name 5 favorites because
right. No.
I grew up watching these guys. So like Logic and Roderick in high school. Like they
Man.
were 2 and 3 behind LeBron. So I mean, like you can't not mention them. Like, so it's tough, man. I can't single it down. I mean, it's like high school careers.
Yeah.
From like NBA careers is different because a lot of these guys were the man in high school. Like,
I know it's real cliche, but talk about that game versus Isaiah Thomas, and you talk about that, bro. A lot of people don't know, but as a freshman, Peyton Siva, along with another freshman, Chris Holmes, kind of saved the day, man. Talk about that, man.
Yeah, I mean that was a fun game. So I think
the legendary.
I think I got 4 of those 52 points or something like that.
Hey, that's
I wasn't guarding him.
Siva. That's pretty good.
Guarding him. And this goes back to Coach Kerr, man. Yeah. So I was a freshman this year. I had just came off a broken hand. I had sit out the King Co tournament, and I got I was just healthy enough to come back for the state tournament.
Yeah.
And we were the dark horses that year coming in to the Tacoma Dome. Curtis was probably the favorite. And when we got the matchup with Curtis, I think Isaiah had like 22 like the first quarter of the game. Like it was just everything was just falling for him. Bucket, bucket, bucket. He almost dunked on Jordan Daisy. He had like this crazy left hand. And they just outmatched us in every single way. They had 2 big guys in their team that just, got every rebound. But in the second half, we were down by like 20 something, and Coach Kerr was just kind of like, "Hey man, just go out there and play."
I thought you guys was done, Siva. I thought you guys were done.
I mean, from the outside looking in,
yeah,
it looked like it. Just because, I mean, shit, he was making every shot, and
every shot, man.
It was like one of those things. It's like, damn, okay, like we can never get over that hump.
Yeah.
I think I had like 17 in the second half. I can remember we were cutting it down. He was still taking all the shots, but he was missing now.
Yeah.
And we were cutting down. I think I got a steal, and I was on a fast break, and I just kept hearing Coach Kerr behind me talking about, "Dunk that shit, dunk that shit." And Kerr's not one of those guys that wants you to dunk it, wants you to be flashy, but he was just behind me yelling, "Dunk that shit, dunk that shit." And I went up and I dunked it. And I was a freshman in the Tacoma Dome.
It went up. I remember when you did that,
we were going wild. And we just kept cutting down. I mean, we pulled away at the end, and it was one of those games that you just like, you still get that adrenaline rush now, thinking back on it. But it was definitely a battle. To say at least, they definitely should have won that game. But, we start running hot a lot. we start running around the court with our heads cut off, and things just started working well for us. Chris Holmes made some big plays in the second half, and for 2 freshmen to step into that situation was really huge for us and really propelled us for years to come. And the championship game, I think we won by like 30 or something, so it wasn't really that game was the championship game against Curtis and IT.
So you're in season now, Peyton?
Yeah.
How's that going so far?
It's good, man. We had to deal with the little COVID break, COVID situation. So we had to pause for 2 weeks at the beginning of the season. So guys are just now getting back to rhythm. I had COVID at the beginning of the season, so it was tough to kind of get back over that. That was a tough little stretch for myself. But now things are going. We have a lot of games, but things are going well, playing well this year. We were doing really well in EuroLeague, dropped a couple games, dealt with some injuries, and so we dropped a couple games. We're doing better than expected in EuroLeague, getting there, catching our rhythm. And it's just, we're truly fortunate to be able to play during these times. A lot of people aren't able to play, and for us to go out there and play, to still have a job is, truly a blessing for us.
So I'm guessing they had to like move around you guys' schedule too, kind of like how they're doing with the NBA, crunching in a lot of games. Is that how they're doing it?
Yeah, man, we are.
That's tough.
I mean, for us too in Europe teams usually play one game a week. You play EuroLeague, it's usually 2 games a week. We're now playing like 4 games a week, and I mean, we don't have the luxury of a charter flight, to fly to the city and fly back. We're on the grind. Baggage claim. All right, hour bus ride. All right, 3-hour bus flight. Another hour and a half flight. Like then playing the next day in between travel, then playing. It's a grind. But I mean, like I said, we're still fortunate to just try to get through this season, try to get through it the best way we can, man, and move from there.
Okay. And then podcasts. You're on ours, but
hey,
we
way to
see
remind me.
Podcast starting up too. What's that about?
Yeah, man, it's funny. So one of my old teammates, we were doing a podcast, Ball Around the World, and he was a teammate of mine, and he kind of just asked me if I wanted to, kind of co-host with him on the podcast. And for me, I didn't really want to do it just because it's something that I don't like to do, man. It's something that, I don't like being on the other end of asking questions. It was kind of out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had to get out of my comfort zone and try something new. It's something that we've been doing. It's fun. We had a lot of fun guests on, but it's great, man. It's I just love talking hoops with people. It's always a good time, and if you find somebody who you really gel with, it could be a fun process. Like you two, like I tell Fred, I comment on you guys. I really enjoy listening to you guys' podcast. I couldn't wait to get on. Listen to Kerr and Rylan. The last episode was it was fun because it brought so many memories back, and those two are great guys but clowns, and it really showed.
Yeah, man. Definitely the goal hoop narrative, man, is definitely get that Seattle narrative out there. You're definitely etched and stoned in Seattle basketball. I think your name will forever carry on when you talk about Seattle basketball. It's impossible to without bringing up PS3.
Yeah, because I feel like,
hey, man, I appreciate that, man.
I feel like the younger people watched you, and you know what I mean. They got to see you do your work, and then the people that are a little older also. So you're like in that.
I'm like in that middle generation right
bro.
now. Yeah,
you're perfect, bro. Like when I talk to the younger dudes, they're like, "Ooh, I can't wait for you guys to talk to Siva." And even the older people, they're like, "Siva's one of those guys. You guys need to get on there."
Yeah.
So it's like. It's
And
good.
Yeah, I fall right in there, baby. That's
that's good. That's good right now because some of these young dudes like Marcus Williams are probably gonna be like, "Who is that?" And you're gonna be like,
he old. Don't even worry about Marcus Williams. He old as shit now, man. Just keep my name fresh right there.
Right. You right there. So
it is like,
man, I gotta come back to Seattle, man, some more so I can hoop with the young guys. I wanted to come back. I was back and I was gonna play in Jamal Crawford's summer league.
Yeah.
Dave King, shout out to him, Big Cuddy, kept calling me. And I was like, Dave, I haven't hooped. In the summertime, I take some time off. And I was like, Dave, I haven't hooped in like a week and a half. And I'm not showing up to Jamal Crawford Summer League after being away for like 3-4 years and no one see me. It's like I'm not coming in there and just thinking it up like this. Like you gotta give me a better heads up, man. That's a prestigious league now. I played in it when it first started out. So
it's on video games and stuff now, bro. It's just
ball is life every week. Like
it's crazy.
I gotta go into full season train mode before I play one of those games, bro. I'm not getting embarrassed when I go out there and playing.
So that means we expect to see you out there next summer then in a mall league.
If it's on, man,
who knows?
I'm gonna try to get back there and play because I gotta play with like the 30 and up guys. So
the guys that know how to play the right way. I hear you, bro. I'm not trying to do
bro. Yeah, I can't play against shout out Wani, but I don't want him to try to dunk on me and foul me. Wani played too hard defense and shit.
Come on, man.
All the CD guys, they just all the hood dudes, they just lock down defense.
Hey, serious.
Hey, bro, I don't have time for that. Like, I don't feel like getting locked up in front of everybody, and then I'm gonna be on Facebook, trending like I got locked up all these.
Never came home and got clamped at open gym.
Hey, bro, and then I was like, damn, man, now I'm getting EuroLeague a bad name, and Louisville ain't nothing.
When's the last time you hooped in Seattle with some of the Seattle guys?
I don't hoop in the summer.
Oh, okay.
I train. I work
that.
out.
Yep.
Like if we play some 1-on-1 maybe, but like I'm more, bro. I'm like
That's
I'm
what
injury.
matters, though.
I'm so injury prone. So I was like, man, I don't have guaranteed contracts like a lot of these NBA guys. So I have to, pace myself to get to the season.
Take the
before I
business
start playing.
approach. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I might come back, and play a little bit just to get out there and run. But I honestly like to just get my workouts in, man. Enjoy my time with my family. I'll hoop every now and then, some little 5-on-5, but I'm about to get like taped up and ankle braces and everything.
Siva, I got one of the questions I have for you before we get you up out of here. Question I had is, rather somebody you played with or you watched, who do you think is somebody that's underappreciated in the Seattle basketball scene?
See, I was thinking about this beforehand.
Yeah. Tell me, bro.
I'm gonna like I already mentioned Reggie.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
he's probably one of the biggest ones. Just
Give
because
me three guys. Give me 3 guys if you could. Just 3.
See, I'm gonna give you like I said, I can't go like older generation and younger generation. I'm gonna go with 3 people that like I'm really cool with. Shit, I can name off a big list. Aaron Dotson is a tremendous player.
Good AD.
Mark McLaughlin.
Mark used to give us fits.
Buckets. Mark was one of those guys.
If he didn't take his jersey out, they would have beat us at Franklin. Remember, Siva?
Yeah, I know.
Jersey out and got the technical.
Yeah, and I almost lost that. That was my loss is different. And man, he was just one of those guys that just he can do everything on the court. Dribble. He was tall, lanky guy. Can shoot the ball. Just score. A personal favorite of mine. Like I'm gonna keep it in kind of like my generation as probably Glenn Dean up at Roosevelt.
Very underrated.
Just because of the fact, like I grew up with Glenn, so I understand he was probably one of those guys that I hated to play against because he wasn't the flashiest guy, he wasn't the most athletic guy, but he was like our modern day Mitch Johnson from O'Day. Yep. Like he was like
just sturdy,
just solid. Just I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do everything. And I remember working out with Glenn when I was a kid, and I remember him going to our backyards like, "Hey man, can you rebound? Let me get these. I got to make 100 shots." And I'm like, 100 shots? Like that sounded so much to me when I was growing up because I was just let's go play 21 at the park. Like let's go to the Dunkables and just do some shit off the walls and dunk. But like. I would say Glenn. I want to say one more.
Go ahead.
A guy that doesn't get the recognition that he deserves in Seattle basketball. That's tough, man. Like I said, because I would say, I mean, the one that sticks out to me is the most is Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we can stick with that. We can stick with Reggie.
He was just this elite talent. Mm-hmm. I think he kind of fell through the cracks just because of the first couple of years when he went to O'Day. People kind of forgot about him. He came back on the scene at Rainier Beach. Obviously, it was a bigger school as far as national attention wise. Mm-hmm. And then, what he did for college, afterwards, people kind of forgot about him in that sense. But Reggie and high school and AU was, a mastermind, amazing player. And you couldn't guard him. I mean, he made the right passes. He was one of the first guys I ever seen split a screen and just dunk it.
Yeah. Very high IQ as well.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. And skills. So I feel Reg because he be talking about that all the time. He feels like guys didn't respect his game enough. But I'm here to tell you guys, and you see Siva is like Reggie was an elite talent, man.
Elite, sky blue, elite. That guy was, like I said, he was one of those guys I grew up with that just gave me fits, and I loved playing against him and loved watching him. But he was just an amazing talent growing up.
Extremely skilled, yeah. OT, you got something for him, man?
Nah, man. So it was just a blessing to have you on. It's always good seeing you, Siva. Just like you said, everybody listening, you can listen to Ballin' Around the World podcast featuring Peyton Siva and Tony Gaffney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can listen to that on all platforms.
Yep.
Okay. And then you already know us, Hoop Narrative Podcast. We're on all platforms as well. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.
Google Play, all of it. Yep.
All of that, man. We're going to let you get back to the fan, man. Siva, like I said, it was good having you in here. Best of luck. Definitely on the rest of your season as well.
Nah, man, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I couldn't wait to finally join you guys and chop it up with some people that I actually know.
Right. Last question before I get you out of here, man. How's the 30 club?
Bro, my knees
all
hurt.
Of us. Oh, man.
Nah, man, it's good, man. Like I said, I'm enjoying life, bro. I have 2 little girls that keep me active.
Yes.
You know, I'm playing at a high level basketball, and you know, I couldn't be more thankful, bro. So I'm enjoying life. I'm just taking everything as it comes, and you know, just like I said, thank God for everything.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Appreciate you guys.
It's, OT. I got my bro Fred Joe always in the building. And then, of course, thank you to Peyton Siva as well. Hoop Narrative, man. We out.
Took a breather and came back in no time. Put the ball in my possession and it's showtime. I'm taking the last shot, coach, don't mind. I'm a different predicament, so it troubles you. Game clock ticking and I'm coming for the W. One man ain't enough, they gon' have to double two. Get ball shot made, all the fans loving you. Time expired, everybody rushing you. Now you done showed them what you about. Try to tell you we was gon' make it without a doubt. Do what they can, I'm already stamping. I be shitting like Kevin Durant. I'm in the game, ate up. When I steps on the floor, I don't waste time. 2 seconds, 1 shot, I'ma make mine. Hit a 3-pointer on baseline. They want my spot, I'm trying to save mine. So you should move over. 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 So you should move over.